Hey there, folks. Welcome back to another Simrail video. We have got our latest DLC that released today, the 30th of April, very end of the month, for Simrail. And it is set in central Poland. And while I'm sure a lot of you out there are like, hey, can we get something else now? Maybe another country, etc. That's coming. There's stuff being worked on behind the scenes for Simrail, for various other regions within the game and across the world. But, you know, it makes sense that a lot of this is in Poland, being that the developers are Polish and Polish railways and trains are their personal passions and have quickest and easiest access to. So, therefore, Polish train game. Now, there will be stuff, like I said, but right now it's pretty much all Polish, and this is what we got. Now, this entire DLC is only going to cost you just over $10. I thought this was going to cost a lot of money. It did not. It's going to cost you 13 bucks. You get 10% off right now until I think the 5th of May, which takes a few bucks off, but it's still pretty cheap. It's like truck sim prices, truck sim DLC prices, which is pretty awesome. And the breadth of what you get within Simrail and its sheer playability is massive compared to other train sims. But anyway, let's get in and have a look. Earth. All right, just to make sure everybody's on the same page, we all know where Europe is, right? Most of us know where Poland is. This is going to take place in central Poland. We'll zoom right in on Lodz here. And maybe I'll get the pronunciation of that correct. I believe it's right in here somewhere. Where's it at? Load names. Loads. This is where you start, though. This right here. This is Lodz, which is the station that we'll start at. We'll take a train trip here in a minute. And you're going to head due west. You're going to go out and then kind of up a little bit. And then head almost like I'd say a third of the line is a extremely high speed straight shot over to this side of Warsaw. Of course, Warsaw is already in Simrail, but other lines. This is another line that is, you know, the new DLC for Simrail. And personally, I'm eager to check it out. All right, now let's get in there. Alrighty, right. We're in the menu. The editor is still grayed out. Not for you, not allowed. Can't do the editor yet. Everything else looks the same, though. For those similar peeps, such as myself, that enjoy operating and controlling trains with others across this big blue globe of ours we call Earth. Head into multiplayer. To find the new route or the new map within multiplayer, go to this drop down top right, go down to Warsaw, Lodz, and there it is. These are the current lobbies or servers, and they are thick. I mean, jeez. Yeah, they're almost completely full. And this is just like right now. Wait till a little bit later in the night for other parts of the world, and later in the day for the US, etc. These will be thick. And like, you know, with a lot of Simrail stuff, when something releases, these get thick. It might be hard to find something you want to run, but give it a week or two and it'll kind of mellow out, and then you can get in there and get whatever control tower you want or whatever train you want, so on and so forth. So we'll go back. This does include single player stuff as well. So we'll click on train driver, click on Lodz Warsaw. There we go. Read the description. Take the first railway line on the lands of the Kingdom of Poland to Lodz, the former textile empire and symbol of the industrial boom in the 19th century. Very industrious area. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 scenarios. That's pretty good. Think about it. We'll say, oh, what's another train sim? Train Sim World, for example. How many scenarios do you get with a new route on that, which is like 50 bucks? 2, 3, sometimes 4, if you're lucky. And the playability is just, you know, it's not really there. But you've got a bunch of options here. So you've got cargo, regionals, and intercities, of course. Now, what they did with these, so you're not kind of locked down, is you can choose whatever kind of train or locomotive you want to operate with this, which they introduced in a patch. I think it was late last year. So you can basically choose whatever you want. You don't have to drive the same thing. So one scenario turns into multiple scenarios. And down here, you've got the train spotter or rail fan. This is kind of cool. This is what we opened the video up with. And you've got multiple spots. You can see the green dots there on the map. And they got some very nice picturesque spots. It reminds me of like some Kingdom Come Deliverance kind of stuff, which epic game, by the way, and kind of in the same region. Just, several hundred miles, but, fairly close. But anyway, so that's that. That is neat. You can sit and watch trains. To start out, let's get this intercity. I'm going to try and cover the entirety of the map. Now, the whole thing is not going to be ran A to B because that's going to take almost 2 hours. And 3.5 minutes is the average watch time of any YouTube video. So I'm going to try and keep this condensed to at least an hour. So we'll see how far we get. But we're going to take a look around this new route. So we'll go ahead and click this intercity train from Wrocław to Białystok. On this, it goes from Lodz, Wiedzu to Warsaw, Wychadnia. Weather dynamic, 5 variants. So those are the trains you can choose, and of course you can choose the weather now too. So let's go ahead and click on that and load her up. Okay, so just to get an idea of where we're going to be at, since the previous lines within the game are going kind of south of Warsaw, and this time we're going west of Warsaw. This is the official Simrail wiki, which has got everything pretty much you need to know. You may have questions about regarding signals, ATCS, multiplayer spawn list, the types of vehicles, wagons, carriages, coaches, stations, and more importantly in this aspect, the route map. So we'll zoom in on this skosh here. So all of this in green is the new Lodz Warsaw DLC. So as you can see in the top right hand corner, that's Warsaw, starting with Wychadnia and then through Centralia and then Zakadnia, and then it goes south down to Krakow, or you can go kind of south east. Did I say west? West. Southwest. Down to Katowice, and then west now to Lodz, which is kind of cool. So you got your full map here. It's a massive network. It really is. And that's one of the cool things about Simrail is it's what a lot of other train sims are not. Realistic. All right, folks. So here at this point, we're going to hop around the map and see what it looks like overall. So where you start, if you're doing a full run, either east to west or west to east from Lodz to Warsaw or Warsaw to Lodz, in this case, we are going west to Lodz. You start in Warsaw, and you'll probably, or most likely, go through the 3 stations in Warsaw, or at least 2. But the main area of that's basically the newest part of this new region is Grodzisk, or Grodzisk Mazowiecki. Another fairly large town on the line, like a lot of these, primarily Lodz, and I can't think of the other one at the moment because the names lose me. But it's about 20 miles from Warsaw, so we're about 20 miles west from Warsaw currently, which has historical traces back to the 12th century, like a lot of these regions here. But the railway station we just passed back there is very large, looks very nice, and very appropriate. It does look like the real deal. Opened in 1845. All right, continuing on in Adventures of Mispronouncing the Polish Language, this is the approach to Zjardal. So I'm kind of hopping around. I'm not doing the full run. I think last night it took me almost 2 hours to do the full run on this regional bit, mainly because I was just kind of messing around and looking around and things like that. But Zjardal is another decent-sized town on the line. One of the larger towns just past Grodzisk, where we just left. With the initial growth, like a lot of these towns in this area, spurred from the textile industry, not unlike many other towns nearby, of course. The railway station features 2 platforms with 3 tracks and initially opened in the 1840s. This is the approach to Zjardal, which is one of the more interesting areas as it's got a bit more traffic. You'll see a couple of freight trains sidelined or being staged. Coming to or from a couple local industries in the area, but it's got a pretty decent size yard for the line on this side of Warsaw anyway. You've got a couple of trains here staged. There's an ET-22 sitting there with some of the tanks. That's part of the DLC pack. If you have that, you can operate that, of course. I think if you don't have that, you'll still see it within the game. You just can't operate it. You've got a flat train sitting over there on the right that's staged up. I'm assuming, for letting us pass because we are in a passenger train. And there is a vehicle, a car, on the railroad tracks over there. So that's interesting. I don't know if that's supposed to be part of the scenario or not, but interesting nonetheless. But we'll pull up to Zyardale here and take a look. There's your tower on the left, which controls dispatch, and the station's right up here. All right, we have made our stop in Zyardal, which is the railway station, opened in the 1840s. The modern state of the station has two platforms and three tracks, and the town itself just has a cozy historical vibe to it, mostly preserved and just brimming with history. A ton of preserved and saved old textile industry buildings here, but it was once the largest flax producing town in Europe, also known as linseed for food, but in this case, a fibrous textile crop. This over here, which is pretty neat, is the old railway water tower, which you can kind of go over to parkour over the fence there. But the railway water tower, which is currently not in operation, obviously, and I don't think has been since the 1970s when steam engines were withdrawn from, general service in these parts. This was built in 1925 and basically currently being preserved and kept to its state in the Baroque style. We have departed Zyardal and are on the way to Skierniewice, and this is just a display of some of the traffic that you'll see along the route in this particular scenario, of which there is a lot of. So there's always something to look at, and it always feels alive. This is the approach to Skierniewice, which is probably one of the coolest stops or areas on the line. Another town that's fairly large, got a lot of historical importance, as a lot of towns in the area in the textile industry, but it has another fairly good size freight yard, some siding and passing tracks. You can see a lot of action going on here as we pull into the station itself, but it's a nice area. It's one of the more busy areas, and let's get up there and have a look around. We have arrived at Skierniewice. We're going to have a brief look around going behind the station, which is pretty neat because you can kind of check the areas out a little bit. But Skierniewice, a town located nearly halfway down the line between Lodz and Warsaw. So we're halfway there. That car just changed color from red to white. Don't know what's going on there. This town dates back to the 14th century, like a lot of these towns in the area, as I'll say time and time again. But the very large train station on our left here was established in 1845, serving two lines and built as part of the Warsaw to Vienna railway, which now serves intercity, interregio, and regional trains. Just to the west of the passenger station is an old roundhouse that we'll check out here in just a moment. Now departing Skierniewice, heading west still towards Lodz, and this is the old kind of railroad historical society or museum, if you will, where you can see a lot of old rolling stock sitting back there. Now it's not top of the line 3D ultra high poly stuff. It's just kind of scenery, which is cool nonetheless. But this old station, or not the station, sorry, the roundhouse was built in 1845, being utilized until the early 90s, so it hasn't been dormant for too long. It's currently a museum and historical society, which I think I noted already, home to a plethora of rolling stock, steam engines, diesel, electric, coaches, freight cars, all kinds of stuff, and a lot of nice historical buildings as well. Here on display we have just a brief collection of the type of traffic that you'll see along the line, which ranges from intercity, regional, commuter, and a lot of cargo, which is cool to see too because it mixes it up quite a bit. Continuing west as we're skipping around, this is not a full run, by the way. Like I said, it'd take almost 2 hours depending on the type of train and how well you're driving, etc. But we're just outside of Rogo, which is a small town just east of Lodz by a few miles. But this section right here is very picturesque and non-urban or farmland whatsoever, because this is actually a forest preserve or like a national park or something like that. But it's quite thick and lush. You might see some extra wildlife hiding in here as well. But on approach to Rogau, you'll see all kinds of other trains as well, including cargo, like we've got this tank train coming at us here, and of course, plenty of passenger stuff. So we're coming up on Rogo here, and it's a pretty neat area as well. Another small town on the line, just east of Lodz, so we're not too far now. But this place is home to a heritage narrow gauge railroad and station over a century old, which is just up here on the left. You're not really going to be able to see it from this perspective, I guess you could say, but it's over there on the left, and it's pretty cool. It features numerous pieces of historical rolling stock, tourist passenger train rides. Another good size area here that we're approaching as I'm speeding because my train operational skills suck is Koluski, another notable point along the line, very close to Lodz now, with a fairly large yard. This is one of the major towns and rail junctions in the region, featuring trains between Warsaw, Lodz, Wrocław, Częstochowa, and Katowice. Now, the line was built through initially in 1846 as part of the Vienna-Warsaw line. Currently has 3 platforms and 6 tracks, and nearby is the Koluski Museum in a rebuilt railway station, which is pretty cool, showcasing the city and regional history and things like that. You'll note a lot of freight and cargo traffic here staged up as well, which is pretty cool. There's also a unique control box, which is here along with a rail yard and stub to the PERN facility, which stores and transports large quantities of various fuel types. That is over to our right and kind of behind us. So some of your freight and cargo will be coming from that way, but we are passing the actual station building or station house now on the left. Now approaching Lodz, we have skipped pretty much to the end and the end of the line. From here, you'll note quite a few tracks that we have got 4 across now. You'll see a bit more traffic, a lot more kind of regional or provincial commuter traffic. But Lodz, the namesake of the DLC, a city in near dead center of Poland, like mentioned earlier, built by industry like a lot of these towns, as mentioned earlier as well. The city dates back to the 14th century and is 75 miles southwest of Warsaw. So that is how far we have traveled. This is your eastern approach facing west to Lodz Widzu, which is the actual station, and it's a fairly large one as well. That on the right is the TMD, which is basically train maintenance facility or something like that, or depot. It's called the LKA maintenance facility, basically cleaning and repairing Nuvag and Stadler traction. It kind of stinks you don't see anything over there. You figured there would be a couple of trains sat over there, but sadly there is not in this instance. All right, and this is it. Lodz, the end of the line. Lodz Widzu, original station opening in 1901, being renovated numerous times in the early 2000s. We're in the depot to take a look at the EN 57919. So while technically there is no new traction or rolling stock within the menu, this is what you do get as part of the extension from Warsaw, which is the DLC, Lodz to Warsaw. This is in the provincial livery for the region. So regional trains out of Lodz, I forget what they call the province and the correct terminology and things like that, but it's got a very cool kind of 90s vibe to it with the livery itself. And you'll note if you look at the TMD or the maintenance depot, the LKA maintenance depot that was in Lodz Widzu, you'll note that the paint or the look of the station kind of matches the train sets as well, and just the way they look overall, or the livery. Now, I know a lot of these EN57s were updated over the years, some not as much as others. I do not know what all went through an update into this one. If you do know, please let me and others know down below in the comments as usual. But I don't know what all was changed with the EN57919. I think the passenger display, the kind of dot matrix thing up there on the top, I believe it is a little bit different than some of the EN57 models, but I'm not totally sure. So if you know, let us know. But this is kind of the new livery that you get, not a new train with the DLC. Okay, guys, and last but not least, dispatch. This has quickly become one of my favorite things to do within Simrail. It's dispatching trains. It's very cathartic and relaxing. It's just a chill thing once you kind of get it going. But a lot of the stuff that was added to this are as follows, as far as the towers or the depot points. Zjardal, Zakovic, Polodny, Skirnovich, Rogał, Prishua, Lodz, we do, the main station, and Galkowek. Now, of course, they're not all, and I know I butchered every one of those names, feel like a complete idiot, but I tried, and that's what counts. You will note some of the older stations that were already in the game, like Napalka and Korito and Ultimowicz, things like that are on here. That's because the lines all kind of mix with one another. But let me see if we can click on one of these and just kind of mess around a bit. Let's check out... oh, dang, I think one of the new ones was actually here, and I was blabbing away. This is one of the new ones here, Rogo. But all of these are going to be grabbed up by people in short order just because it's new and people are going to want to play it right. So let's go ahead and click it and see if we can get in here and see what's what. All right, it just so happens to be nighttime, and we loaded in. This is Rogo or Rogał. Again, not sure exactly how you say it, but there's definitely a vibe in here. The lighting in this game is just top-notch. Chef's kiss. So Rogo, we're just outside of that nature preserve that I mentioned earlier. We're closer to the Lodz side than the Warsaw side. I'd say we're about 75% of the way to Lodz from Warsaw at this point, but it's going to be hard to kind of showcase all these because people are going to be in them and it's going to be hard to get to. That's why I would like if they would add like maybe an AI only dispatch role so you can get in and grab, towers that, because there's some popular towers and they're hard to get to, and like, unless you're Johnny on the spot, quick draw McGraw, and you can actually get to it in time. We'll check out our CCTV cameras here. It is nice. So it's a bit hard to see. Looks like we've got 3 cameras of varying zooms. It is very dark. And we'll look at our timetable here, see what time it is. We're in Rogo, 3:51 a.m., so it's going to be dead. Yeah, our next train isn't due until 4 a.m. So that's why this one was probably open, because nothing was going on. Well, let's go ahead and look at this. So there's not a whole lot going on here. You do have some converging tracks just to the, I'm assuming that's the southwest of the station. We're at the little box that says RG down there. We do have some trains loading up down there. One of them is a freight train. Very cool. So we'll at least check that out and see how that rolls. We've got one platform there in the middle, which looks like it can be served on both sides. We've got a couple more tracks up top. Looks like it could be a pretty fun tower. Somewhat busy. It is just outside of Lodz, so you should see quite a bit of passenger traffic. All right, so we skipped time ahead a little bit through the magic of editing, and we do have a train approaching. It looks like we've got 2 actual people here in the other towers, which are Kaluski and Plisiwia. Now, over here to the west is that little narrow gauge Heritage Railroad. It's actually back there, and it's got its own line. Pretty cool area if you want to look that up online via the Google. And then further kind of south and west as well is another line that converges and runs to the south through south central Poland. But we got some stuff going on here, so we'll go ahead and close the car traffic closure just to be safe. As you can see, it's blinking and the little red lights. That means it is down. We'll go ahead and take a peek there. There you go. You can kind of see them flashing back and forth there. So, I know it's not prototypical, but I'll often just leave those down just so it's not something you got to mess with later. We got somebody buzzing us here. Train 192035. Departed at 3:53 on track 2. So that's somebody else at Kaluski. So we'll go ahead and copy that. Thank you. There we go. And this is one of the fun things. It's like working with your peers or your cohorts, within the railroad here within Simrail. But let's look at this cat here. So we got 614036. We'll go ahead and look at our timetable. 614036. I can hear the rain setting in. So this is a TME. He is actually ahead of schedule by 3 minutes. He's coming from Kaluski and he's going to Plisiwa. Line number 1. He's got a 16-minute layover. Let's go ahead and lay his ass over right up in here. So we're just going to throw him right in here in the siding. We'll go ahead and set that train route up. See if it clears it out. See if I did it right. And he should sit just in front of us here, I believe. We'll see. He shouldn't go past that crossing. It looks like it stops above the crossing there. Go back and take a look here. See if he's actually rolling through. 614036, and we have got 912016. So 2 freights back to back. It is nighttime or very early morning. That's when a lot of freight happens, even here in the States. So we got him set up. That's yellow into there. We're going to get him back on that track there. I can't actually see the line in the far right of the screen. Now, it should be line 1. See if he's pulling in here yet. See if we can see his headlights. Not quite yet. Let me double check that guy. What's the number again? 036. 036. 036. Yeah, he's got a 16-minute layover. Line 1, yes. There's nowhere else really for him to go. He's going to Malkinia. I have no clue where the hell that is. IRL. Alright, he should be coming up here. Let's check our cameras. See if we can spot this cat. There he goes right there. It is a container train. Very cool. We just missed it. And there he goes right there as well. Passing the station on that southernmost line, the bottom line. And there's his headlights down yonder. He should stop right before the crossing. I'm going to see if I can get him stopped and then open that crossing to get the cars past. Alright, he's right here in front of us. You can hear those brakes squealing away. Yikes. Loud brakes. Alright, yeah, so he should be sitting right in front of us here. He damn sure is. I can see the containers. There's his lights. We'll open that crossing up and see if we can let traffic across here. See if it'll let us. But the train sat there. Order rejected. Yeah, I guess not. I don't know if I can sit trains here. I guess I could have put them up there, actually. But nonetheless, he's going to chill here for a minute. So let's look at this one. 912016. Kaluski to Pliswia. Man, I cannot say this stuff. Line number 1, 0 layover. So this cat is going right on through to the other side. We'll go ahead and execute that. Let's see if it lines those switches up for me. It may not. Let's see. I might have to do that the old way here. Let's see. Let's see. There we go. All right. Let's see if we can get him through now. There we go. Yeah, sometimes you can't actually change the points via the automatic routing. You got to do it manually. There we go. So we're going to get him through. 912016. We'll go ahead and bump that on like that. See if that goes. It looks like it did. Very nice. And we'll spot him as he comes through as well. So I'm down here looking at the trains, and I found a Terminator. Is that Terminator 2, I think? Alright, we're down at the crossing for a bit of train spotting. There's our tower on the left and the train that we stopped. Here's the tracks coming through now. Looks like another container train. Very cool. He's on down the line. Okay, I kind of had to reset my character. That was odd. So let's see. What train was that? 016. 912016. Train departed. 912016. We'll go ahead and find it here. Boom, boom. He is on the way. That is sent to the next dispatch tower down. 4 a.m. Copy that. We are good to go. We'll see if we can get this cat out of here. I know it is a bit early, but I want to see if I can get him out of being down here, because it won't actually let me stop. Oh, don't want to click that. It won't actually let me stop that traffic closure. Let's see if we can open it. Oh, cool. It will open it now. Interesting. So that's odd. It wouldn't let me open it before. I don't know what was different. Yeah, I no longer see the lights. I don't know if we'll see any actual cars pass through there. There we go. Very cool. So we still got that freight sitting there. All right, so we let those poor people in the cars go through. We'll go ahead and close that right back. They got all of 30 seconds, and we'll get 036 out of here. We've got this block opened up, so we should be able to get him out of here. Let's see if it'll automatically do it here. Let's see. Let's see. Come on. Oh, and there we go. He should be off. Let's see. Please see what I was saying. 144043 is coming down the line. He is charging up his brakes, and he is gone. There it goes. That next freight train. And I think that's going to do it, guys. The new only $12 DLC extension from Warsaw to Lodz. Like a lot of the stuff within Simrail, there's just a lot to do if you have the will or want to do it. But that's it, guys. Thanks for watching if you made it this far, and hopefully we'll see you next time. Take care, guys.